Has Disney lost its magic? Well, after our recent visit there for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party a few weeks ago, we honestly think that it has.
Yeah, we really don't like to make any kind of negative reviews or negative videos, but honestly, there was no salvaging this visit.
It's been 8 years since we've been there, but someone who's been going since 1977 and 1993, we've made a lot of memories there. We used to be pass holders,
Yep.
but honestly, it just seems like it's really changed.
But like Ryan was saying, we made a lot of memories there. We grew up here in Tampa. So going out to Disney World was kind of like, something we kind of did on a more frequent basis than
Hmm.
most people.
Yeah.
And we just made a lot of traditions there when I was a kid, when he was a kid growing up. And we just wanted to keep those traditions going. I did it with our daughter. And now we have a 3-year-old and 2-year-old grandson. And we just wanted to start the tradition. But unfortunately, no tradition was made this trip.
This is not the video we wanted to make at all. We intended to go and have our experience, share it with y'all, review it, have a good time.
Yep.
And honestly, our experience there has led us to make this video, which is our true and honest review and experience. It's not going to include a lot of clips from Disney. It's honestly going to be a lot of our experience and stuff that happened. And this is like the first video where we're saying we can't dig something, and it sucks that it's Disney, but we thought we wanted to be honest and share exactly what happened, what really happened.
For lack of a better words, we're not Karens, we're not complainers, we weren't going there, we don't look for problems.
No.
But it really fell short. I mean, when you go there with the expectation of just Disney and it's going to be a great time,
Yeah.
we're there for a special event and we had the grandkids with us and it was just going to be that special time. And it just really, like you said, fell flat right from the start.
Yeah. And Disney's not cheap, right? Like, it's whether you're going for the full day, multi-park, even just the Mickey's Scary event, it's expensive. So, you should get your money's worth. Disney has always been a money-making machine. That's never been a secret, but it's like they don't even try to hide it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally like it's just out there in the open.
Well, like Ryan said, we all know Disney's always been a money-making machine. That's the reality of they own like 80% of everything. But when you went to Walt Disney World, Magic Kingdom, there was just that sense of that was a sacred place where they kept that magic alive, where you can dreams really do come true. And unfortunately, like you said, it just not this time.
Yeah. And one of the things that I think was part of the experience here was I feel like induced anxiety and anxiousness almost that Disney kind of creates with sometimes these like limited edition special things that, like, if you don't get within the first, hour of the event starting, you don't get it. So it's like, people feel like they have to rush there and then it's sold. It's just, that's one thing that I just really just bothers me about Disney today in 2024. We're going to just kind of run through kind of the whole day and issues that we ran into from the start of our day to the end of our day. First off, before we even got to the park, we had issues with the disability pass. So the DAS, we've had DAS issues, and we've saw some recent reviews on this, but honestly, the person we were with has MS, they have diabetes, they're legally blind. They're a disabled vet. They got denied a disability pass. And thank goodness that actually that day the lines for certain rides that she wanted to go on weren't very long, because if they were, that would have been a terrible experience.
Part is too. I just saw a story too where Disney denied a man who had terminal cancer. Another a veteran, and he had terminal cancer, and he wanted to just spend a day at Disney. And I get it. There's fakers. Listen, there's people that work the system.
Well, yeah,
but when there's people that are like documented with disabilities, and this person, like you said, that had the disability was a former cast member.
Yeah, she actually used to work at Disney.
Yeah, they knew all the proper channels and all the proper paperwork, and still it just was like, nope, sorry, we can't help you.
Yeah, that kind of started off the day of like, okay, this is kind of a weird experience. And then, it continued once we got to the park. So the person we were with, who is a former cast member, bought all the tickets, and they were all linked to the same account. Everyone got their own card. If you've been to Disney, how that works. And immediately when we entered, there were issues with the cards. People who were in the party on the reservation, linked to the reservation, they couldn't get in with their card. So we had to stop what we were doing, go back to the front, meet them at guest services, and get that whole debacle figured out. Didn't really figure out what the issue was from Disney. It was just, oh, sorry, the cards aren't working. Should be a very seamless experience, again, for the amount you're paying, and this all you have to go through with adding everyone's name to the reservation. You do that for a reason.
When you go into one of the special events, Disney will normally give you like a special band. The cast members were literally cinching them so tight that was cutting off circulation. Actually, my grandson, after about an hour or two in the park, we actually had to cut his off. Not being dramatic, but it was leaving. It looked like he had a set of handcuffs on his hand. It was so tight.
Well, obviously you have to have some indication that you're there for the special
of course.
event, right? But to make a bracelet that only tightens, does not have the
Well, yeah, there was
ability
no
to
option
loosen
to like
up.
loosen
Like,
it or
and
anything.
little kids fidget, adults fidget. Like, I even tightened it a few. I was like, oh gosh, I got to be careful. But like, we met one guest in the park who literally, her daughter was bleeding. It got so tight. She had to go to first aid, get it cut off. It's just like,
Yeah.
just think about the audience and having something that you don't have the ability to loosen on a child. Not really
Yeah, it's not well
thoughtful, not
thought out.
thoughtful.
Yeah.
Another thing in relation to, like just interacting with some of the cast members there with issues that we've had with the cards and the disability pass and the bracelets, like it was just a very like lack of urgency, lack of care. Like it was kind of just like, okay, what do you want me to do about it? It was
Yeah.
weird that like every cast member we encountered was working there for like 2 or 3 days at that point.
What's sad is I get better guest service at Chick-fil-A buying a $4 chicken sandwich
It's
than
so
we did
true.
spending over $100 on a ticket to Disney.
Yeah.
Again, no sense of any kind of caring. And I'm really not a high, like, a person that requires a lot of maintenance. I don't really look for people to go. I spent 30 years in the service industry. I understand how things work.
Right.
But this was just really a true lack of like, okay.
Yeah.
Anytime we ask people stuff, like, Ryan said, the cast members, we've been working here for 2 days. We don't know.
Yeah.
Like, just like, okay.
Well, to your example, Chick-fil-A is kind of like the Disney of fast food, right? You
Yeah,
just
right.
expect that exceptional service. And at Disney, that's kind of just what you expect, is that
Yep.
exceptional service. And that was far from the case. One of the examples is, we were trying to find a place to eat. Now, mind you, this event went on to midnight, right? So
Yep.
you can enter the park at 4. The official event starts at 7. So everyone for the event there starts at 7 and it goes until midnight. Well, you would think that if you had that length of an event, that you would have food options after
right.
9 p.m. You still have several hours before the park is closed. We went to one of the places on the map that said it was open till 11.
Yep.
We got there around 9 o'clock and they were closing up shop. And they said, hey, we're closed. And we said, but the map says you're open till 11. They said, yeah, well, maps were printed 6 months ago. I don't know what to tell you. And that was just like, that was your answer. Like, that was not, let me help you find, I'm so sorry that was a change. Let me help you find some place to eat, go find food. We had a family, we had like 6 7 adults, 2 kids. I mean, just a real lack of caring.
Not being a Karen about the situation, but the map specifically said that you have like 4, just for sake of argument, you had 3 restaurants that were going to be open, for the event past our normal hours. So there was no like, we were going in with this crazy expectation of you should be open for us. I mean,
we're following the map.
It was following the map. And again, to your point, they said, well, sorry, the maps were printed like 6 months ago and stored in a warehouse somewhere and things changed. So it was just, again, very much, and again, I'm not exaggerating it. I know some people exaggerate the experience. But I was really kind of like, wow, that's the answer I've got.
It's just really scarce food options past 9 p.m. If you didn't want popcorn or ice cream after 9 p.m., they had a couple of the specialty Halloween things. But honestly, I didn't want a corn dog covered in Cheetos or a barbecue funnel cake. I wanted, and that's an amusement park, let's be real, right? Like, but I wasn't going to go to be our guest and I didn't want a full sit down dinner, but I wanted something of substance that wasn't Halloween themed. And so we had to go to Pecos Bill's taco place, which is like down by like the Country Bear Jamboree, and like the Tiana Splash Mountain remake. Tacos and nachos, fine, but like that's like the one option you have all the way in the back of the park in the corner.
Well, and mind you now, like we also too now, just because there'll be some naysayers, we came prepared. We had a backpack full of snacks and stuff like that for the kids and things like that. But after 6, 7 hours in the park, snacks run down. I mean, I wasn't going to, I'm not carrying a cooler into Disney. So again, but that's why as the night carried on, we thought, let's just grab a quick bite to eat before we get these kids back to the hotel. It was just really disappointing to see that the lack of caring. And, it wasn't until we got back. And I really started to research a little bit because we went out there with just the expectation of, we've been there plenty of times. We know what it's going to be like. And once we got back and we just started talking about it, I mean, I love my YouTube. Started YouTubing things. I could not believe the amount of people that have come across these same experiences. This morning, before we got to making this video, I was watching the news and a story, lo and behold, came up about attendance at Disney. Over the last few months, park attendance is slowly decreasing month by month. I literally said, wow, like that's like, this wasn't a plan, this wasn't planned, this wasn't part of making the video. It was just like, wow, other people are really noticing, and Disney's bottom line is really starting to suffer for it. And another thing that was really kind of disappointing was, okay, it's Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween. So, the kids want to get candy. Obviously, get what you can. It's fun. That's not the main point of being there. But when I tell you, y'all, the ridiculous lines they made you go through, like they snaked through It literally felt like a quarter-mile building. Literally, we're like, this isn't even worth it. Like, honestly, like, we'll just skip the candy part.
Yep, they could have made it so much more
Yeah, I mean, the
streamlined.
lines for the candy were longer than the lines for one of the longest rides there, like
Yeah.
Space Mountain, for
Yeah.
goodness sake, you
Yep.
know? Ultimately, we really walked away from this experience feeling really underwhelmed. Now, don't get me wrong, the kids still had a great time.
Yeah.
I mean, we made the most out of it.
Yep.
We weren't, you know, the negative Nancy's, and we weren't making us, I mean, we made the best of it. The kids had a great time. But just as adults that understood what the night really could have been and what it should have been when it regards to coming to a Disney event, really underwhelming. I even came home and I was so underwhelmed. I said, you know, I'm going to actually sit and format a letter to them. And I wrote a really long, well thought out,
Yep.
you know, no disrespect, not throwing any shade, just letting them know
just
all the
going through
facts.
the issues just like we did.
Yeah,
in this
kind of like we
video.
did here. And I sent it to them, and it was, again, just a very cold, generic, you know, formatted letter. We're sorry to hear about your experience. We'll pass it on to the appropriate departments. We hope to see you back at our parks again to experience the magic. And I kind of was like, wow, ironically, I just wrote about no magic, and you're telling me come back and experience the magic.
Did you
again,
just
so.
read what I, was that just, did you read what I wrote? Or
I mean, I don't see us going back, you know, anytime soon, especially at the prices that they charge for the parks.
No.
And again, we were pass holders. We loved it. We would go out there sometimes just for the day.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the magic is gone, and it's really, really sad. And I know we're not the only ones that feel that way. And I know that, listen, there's people out there that still love it. You should still go enjoy the magic if you can find it.
Find it.
Yeah, but you know, we just didn't feel that
we
it was.
Didn't experience
no, we didn't experience what it used to be.
No, so it's sad. This is like the first video we're doing that we like can't dig something. This is the first like kind of bad, negative experience.
And you would expect it to be like a restaurant or some other thing, but it's like Disney.
I know.
Disney was our disappointing experience of the year. So
yeah. So I mean, we'll still enjoy Disney Springs. You know, other maybe Disney related things, but I'm not paying to go back to the parks anytime soon.
Not
There's
at all.
Plenty of things here in the Tampa Bay area we can do, like Zoo Tampa, Busch Gardens, other things that we and the kids have just as much fun at. So I mean, honestly, it's, you know, it's great. Those things are great too.
Yeah, it's sad, but that's the truth, folks. And we just want to be absolutely transparent with you. And again, some people are going to agree with this review. Some people are probably going to hate this review. But you know what?
Oh yeah.
You know, transparency and just being honest with y'all. You know.
So Disney, if you're listening, I don't know, something's happened. Please fix it. Bring the magic back, Disney. We love your parks. We love Disney, just everything. But just, you know, bring the magic back.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Make it what it's about. Yeah. I understand there's a bottom line you have to meet, but it's, you know, magic over money sometimes. You know, you do the magic and the money will come.
Yeah. So until next time, we'll bring you along on our next experience. And for sure, it should be a better experience than this one. But cheers.
Cheers.